smash for this.
Yeah,
He had one job.
That was on me.
All right, hey, thanks for the heads up.
Nobody heard his call anyway.
Yeah, nobody heard Bobby's call. 62 to 80, the Wade and Carter weather brought to you by Deerland Feed. We talked about.
That was on me. I got distracted. Squirrel.
Yeah, we talked about Balon, the pre-emergent for grass burrs, and all types of unseemly weeds. We'll be in next week at Deerland Feed.
Basically, all of you ran out to Deerland, got the Balon, and now we're glad you're there. So let's recap the podium this morning.
We apologize.
Yeah. Stephanie Connie, Kappa NK 1963. I don't know who that is, but thank you for tuning in on YouTube. And David Glass, there's a podium this morning.
100% Ash's fault, but we live and die as a team, so.
No, I'll take it.
Don't you always kind of want that, like after an NFL game? You know, it's one of the old jokes with the guy, you said, you got these guys that.
QB throw 5 pick sixes, and you lose 30-0
That's my quarterback, man. It's my quarterback. Yeah. But you hear the guy that they're always saying, I just want to thank, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's good. That's an admirable witness. But at the same time, like, what if God was a Chiefs fan? I mean, it's what if God, because you never hear anybody go, I was running along really good, then Jesus made me fumble. They don't ever do that. They don't ever, Jesus made me fumble. He must have had money on the Chargers.
That's chalked up to free will and trying to screw around with the football before you get into the end zone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what that's chalked up to.
Don't you think that people would learn that lesson? I mean, I can remember even though he's one of the best I ever saw, I can remember some of the showboating antics of Michael Irvin driving me nuts. When he would be, in the open, you know what I'm talking about. He'd hold the ball out. He would hold his arms apart as he crossed the goal. I'm like, dude, cross the goal line and then do something tribal. Don't be stupid until you cross the goal line. There's just a lot of complaining going on. I mean, I can't help you people.
Stephanie Connie, you're all a smiling bunch. I guess y'all were. We were the first 3 minutes that you all missed. Best 3 minutes we've ever done.
Yeah, it was the greatest radio ever. Emmy worthy.
Yeah, and unfortunately, nobody heard it.
No. If Wade and Carter is witty in the forest and nobody is there, is it? Right. Let's take a second. Want to remind you to support the Joel Ruiz family. Mr. Ruiz, longtime family at Allen's Wrecker Service, passed several weeks ago. Diagnosed, very brief battle with leukemia, just took him. And they've got some familial expenses. Atzenhofer, as they often do, steps right into the fray.
$10 pork chop plate dinner tomorrow.
Yeah, available to be picked up tomorrow. They anticipate having plenty. They would like a head count. It's $10 a plate. All $10 go to the Ruiz family. It's just a wonderful example. We're here in Atzenhofer Studio, which, with no humor, they are benevolent to us. They support this forum for you folks. Atzenhofer, a South Texas tradition for over 100 years, always, constantly giving back to the community in ways big and small. We joke about if you go to the Goliad Rodeo and you stand still for more than 5 seconds, somebody will put an Atzenhofer sticker on you. Everything over there, they pay for all of it, and they brand most everything over there. So the Ruiz family, I think the number, Cody, I'm making it up, 361-212-2644. Could be 2466. Dial them both. See if you can get a ticket. I made that
I'll
up.
look it up for you.
Go to Allen's Wrecker Service and pull over a driver and get it. I'll make another deal with you. Pull up tomorrow with $10 in your hand. I bet you can get a plate.
Speaking of,
and if you can't, give them the $10 anyway.
That's right.
Yeah. Speaking of putting a sticker on it or a label on it, Taylor Swift getting mad at a company called Cafe Home. They I guess in 2015, launched a brand of bedding called Swift Home.
Okay.
And it's available at several places.
Like, have they ever used her likeness to
I
promote
don't
it?
believe so.
Swift Home.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sounds to me like it's something that would be inspired by the internet. Get it quick, get it at home.
Yeah, Taylor's got about 35% of Swift formative trademarks in this country already,
There you go.
according to Gerben Law, who is weighed in on this one. Swift Home sells bedding and other things in JCPenney and several other retailers around the company. Cathay Home's a New York-based company, so Taylor getting a little mad that somebody's using her name, I guess.
I mean, does she think she's got the market cornered on the word Swift?
That's
I mean, that's you talk about arrogant. Now, I could see if it was Elvis, but Swift, that's crazy talk.
Yeah,
There you go. Lisa Poole, thank you so much. Lisa Poole has her tickets, and she dialed 361-212-2466.
Taylor's legal team says the Swift Home trademark improperly trades on the fame and commercial popularity of Taylor's name and creates a false association with the pop star.
I can see where somebody might make the connection, but just because she's a big star,
Would her likeness not also be on the label if she's selling something?
Right. Yeah. And should she maybe take this as an opportunity, no kidding, to say, hey, for 20% of the net,
Pat Visconti and I are on the same page. He goes, tell her to sue Swift Trucking Company while she's at it. We'll all be safer on the roads.
Yeah. But like Swift, trucking's been around forever. Yeah, solid. Michelle Wilson-Hawkins with the same notice.
Canada has a brand of meats called Swift Premium Meats. I mean,
oh, that sounds terrible.
Luncheon meats, the famous mac and cheese loaf.
The mac and cheese loaf.
You guys never had that?
No, we didn't. We didn't.
It's like luncheon meat, not bologna, but like the other luncheon meat that is generic.
Right.
It's not ham. It's not bologna. It's somewhere in between.
Right. It's 89% fat.
Yes.
Yeah. That.
But inside each piece of the loaf, there's macaroni and there's cheese. It's so good. It was a delicacy growing up. We didn't get that often. We got bologna and mustard.
Was it expensive?
A little more expensive than bologna,
So
yes.
is it like our pimento loaf?
It's similar in concept, but it's got mac and cheese in it, and it's way better than pimento loaf.
By the way, though, I love pimento cheese. And they make, I think it's H-E-B, has a jalapeno pimento cheese. Mixes all the food groups. Torrin Bell says she created great awareness for Swift Homes. Sales will be up. If she really had any panache, she would go to them and say, hey, tell you what, why don't we cut a deal? Why don't we cut a deal? I'd like to review your products. Wow, those are nice. How about if I come on and go, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
I tried Swift sheets, and they're super comfortable. Why don't you buy some too?
You had to be careful the way you said that.
Well, quickie sheets.
Swift sheets, that could have come out completely different. Something you might have after prune juice consumption.
I got the Swift sheets. Whew, shush. I got the sheets. Whew. What are you, Scottish? Hi, Captain. I got the sheets.
No, Andrew Alvarez, no, head cheese is not good. Sorry.
Is head cheese literally made, is it like pork chorizo kind of?
Head meat, and it's jelly, and it's gross.
That's gross. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's chunks of garbage held together by jelly.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Grammy.
I mean,
Y'all are really selling it to me today.
bologna's about as far as I'll go. You know?
Hot dogs?
Yeah, but hot dogs is pushing it. That's not at the bottom of. You start out with the pig at the very top, and you cut out the quarters and the ham and then you work your way
And
down.
the pork steaks.
When you get down to the eyeballs and the.
I thought bologna and hot dogs were kind of the same level, but I'm just asking.
They're close, but I think there are. But bologna has kind of bologna, salami, pastrami. I mean, it's tried to work its way into the major Italian food groups. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Look at that Swift Butterball turkeys. Yeah, if you get a real big one, I got me a Kelsey.
Scott Topical says head cheese will give you the Swifties.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Whew,
it will.
the sheets. Listen to that. Patrick Strauss brings it all full circle. Patex in Shiner has a jalapeno head cheese that is great. I am not eating anything called head cheese. I've heard of butt cheese. I'm not doing it.
No.
You can't make me do that. Head cheese. Gross. Good Lord. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it because I can.
Yeah, do it.
Folks, give up on the head cheese. Get into Paravita Wellness today. You'll have to fight off Lisa Poole. She's in there nickel and diamond trying to get the half off out of the cold case. Remember when they used to have the day old bakery?
Yeah.
I was dumb enough to think that I was like, man, they change all the bread out every day. Of course, I was 5. There was no truth in advertising back then either, but Paravita Wellness. Go in, visit with Erica. You can make an appointment. She'll go over your blood work with you, show you where you may be deficient, where you may need to go, oh, you need some iron, or, oh, let's cut out the gluten, or let's cut out some of the carbohydrate. She can help you at Paravita Wellness. Tomorrow you can experiment. Go to Vita Cafe and try their wonderful brunch. Went Services, there's no segue from Vita Cafe to Went Services, except if the Vita Cafe had an electrical problem, they would call Went Services. That's who they would call to come out, fix a plug, fix a breaker, add a plug. Why is this light flickering? Change of ballast. Went Services for all your electrical needs. The office is at 205. Limited space available. Pricing is good. Come see what JP Hull and Mr. Geets have done. It's a beautiful building. It's a historic building. It's one of the prettiest buildings in Victoria. We are directly above the kitchen at Greeks 205. Veracruz Restaurant, Friday. Chicken Fried Friday. Tonight is the night to get in. It's the gravy, folks. Get in for the chicken fried steak. This is a hand-breaded, this is not like some fried, frozen, Swift meats cutlet. This is a real chicken fried steak the way, I'll tell you exactly where it came from. Back when the feedlot was out at the airport, where Sky Restaurant is now, our own Lee Caballero worked with the folks at the feedlot, and that's where he learned how to perfect this chicken fried steak. And then USA Concrete Coatings for all your concrete needs. They don't put gravy on it. They'll sand it, seal it, stain it, paint it, whatever you want done. 578-HOME. Let them help you. Talk to us about Barbacoa Boudin.
Well, it's back in the case today at the chopping block. So get in there. I grabbed a link of the seafood boudin, which is
it is really good.
Shrimp and crawfish. Yeah.
Sometimes, even as somebody who really loves seafood, in all its iterations. I mean, I like lobster, shrimp, I like sushi, I like ceviche, all of it. Any way you want to do it, fry it, broil it, bake it, brown it, blacken it. Veracruz style. I'll eat seafood any way you want to cook it. Sometimes when you put seafood in a dish, it gets a little oceany. You know what I'm saying? It gets kind of, feel like you're eating out of a bait bucket. This is not that way. This seafood boudin it's just the right, they have the right touch on the products they create.
And if you want ground beef, your ground beef at the chopping block not going to be subject
Fresh
to
ground.
the recall that was just issued by yesterday by CS Beef Packers.
Yeah.
So there you
22,000 pounds. They're concerned about E. coli. Is there not, now this is a dumb question. Cody, if I heat my meat, correctly, and don't worry, the Cody cam is on, so watch your smirks.
Yeah, don't do that.
If I properly heat my meat, don't I kill E. coli?
If you get it hot enough.
That's what I would think. Now, I don't really want my burger well done, but go ahead. I'm trying to learn something here and educate our folks. How about Patrick Strauss just throwing his heart surgeon to the dogs? I went to Veracruz for a chicken fried steak yesterday at lunch. It was very good. Today's sign that Patrick Strauss is A, glad to be back in Texas, and B, retired. Because you know, if you eat that big chicken fried rug at lunch, you know you're taking a nap.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Go down there below. Ernesto says, now I'm hungry. And then he adds, if I get my meat hot enough. All right, Ernesto, it's still a family show.
Yeah. No friction involved with the cooking of the meat.
Yes.
Convection or conduction only.
You rub the meat. Will it get hot enough to cook?
I just remember a guy in junior high, we were doing the old conduction
I'm not sure
experiments.
we should go here.
No,
It is Friday.
In
Cody's
science
embarrassed.
class.
Oh,
And so-
it's science. Hi, science.
Yeah. So the science teacher asks for volunteers. Guy stands up, and you're doing the conduction, and he's holding a piece of metal and he's heating it over here, and let me know when you can feel the heat. He held on to that thing, and by the end of the experiment, he had blisters on his
Nice.
fingers because
He was not giving in.
He wanted to prove that he could tough it out. Idiot.
What do you got here?
Jerry Weeb was his name. It looks like the FTC is warning Apple. Imagine this: we're heading into an election cycle, and Apple News already on the offensive. Media Research Center analyzed 620 stories featured on Apple News in January and found that none of them came from what are considered right-leaning news outlets.
I struggle with this because, in the purest sense, Apple is just an exponentially bigger version of us. And I don't want the FTC coming in and telling us, well, y'all aren't doing enough stories featuring positives about the left.
Well, I don't subscribe to Apple News, but here just today, I just opened it up. The Hill, the Washington Post, BBC News, the AP, Reuters, the Athletic. I like them. I do subscribe to that one though. Wired. And just to give you an example of Wired's headline, ICE is expanding across the U.S. at breakneck speed. Here's where it's going next. So you're getting involved in all this stuff. The Economist, Vanity Fair, Entrepreneur, Wall Street
Vanity
Journal.
Fair. You've got to have Vanity Fair. Y'all want to see somebody that doesn't read Vanity Fair? There he is. He ain't reading no Vanity Fair.
No, I'm not.
Or
There you
or
go.
GQ.
He's not reading a lot of GQ.
I don't read much of anything these days, to be honest.
Take a second, though, to tell folks what you do. Folks, if you're older, if it's a big deal for you that, oh, goody, I connected to Wade and Carter this morning on Facebook or YouTube or the No Bull Network or Magic 95.9, if you're proud of yourself because you actually pulled off the connection, Commander Cody has an option for you. Cody, go. Tell him.
So we're launching a new business called the Crossroads Help Desk, and it is a tech support. It's geared at people 50 and above, but it could be used for anyone. And what we want to do is sit down with you and patiently walk through any of your technology help. We've hired a couple IT graduates from A&M to come and help be a part of this. And what we're going to do is launch it Thursday, March 5th. Start on Thursdays and see if there's enough need for this. But the idea is just a place you can go and get help. We're keeping it really cheap. So you come in, you get an hour of tech support where somebody's going to sit beside you and walk through the whole process of whatever you need. It's going to cost you $30 an hour. And it's just a way we saw a need in the community and we kept getting calls. And so we did some research and discovered there was nobody else doing this and said, how can we support our community? And so I think
That's
it'll be
awesome.
really cool.
That's awesome. They can find that on a website. And there's the
Yep.
problem. The challenge is, I'm not being facetious. The challenge is if you're not very tech savvy, you may have a hard time actually finding the service. Where can they find the service?
So we have a phone number, and you can just make an appointment by phone because not everyone who's going to need our help is going to be able to do it online. But we do have a website. It's crossroadshelpdesk.org. And we like .orgs because it shows it's an organization. It's not just about making money. But our phone number is 361-433-5561.
I bet you could put that in the comments.
I bet I could if that was okay with the guys on the radio.
It certainly is. Anything we can do to promote anything you do. Folks, he always has the best intentions, and he also has the best results. When you say it's geared at people 50 and over, Ash, you think maybe he's giving you like a complimentary boost or something when you come there, like a protein drink, something?
No, but we'll give him a cup of coffee or some water or soda or something.
He gave me that, and now I got the sheets.
Yep.
And we have 2 bathrooms, so it works out. We're off Ben Wilson over by A&M. So
there you go. That sounds so cool to say. I mean, even as a Texas grad, we're over by A&M. I think that's
sure
fantastic. I think that's awesome.
So a couple of U.S. Navy ships collided in the Caribbean. They were on a resupply, mission.
So they
exercise.
needed to be side by side to pass over the booze, but then they bumped.
A couple of crewmen injured as a result.
Yeah.
Rough seas, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see what else is happening. Ice pulling out of Minnesota. Minnesota,
What's the deal?
I think they're just moving things down. Tom Homan says they were winding things down, and the drawdown of most of the remaining ICE officers has been proposed. President Trump apparently has agreed. Their surge into Minneapolis, St. Paul resulted in over 4,000 arrests. But of course, all the leftists are going to point out are the 2 idiots that were killed as they decided to inject themselves into the middle of ICE operations.
Yeah, there's lots of people. I've heard the president say, and I know it's convenient, and for some of you, it's the standard to hate the president, anything the president does. He has said, we stand ready to help other states, but they've got to ask us to come. We're not coming to take over your state. Now, is that a lesson learned? I think so. I think it's something. What is this? I want to see what that is.
What?
They, I think he learned a lesson there that, hey, you come in, you're doing good things, but if the people don't support it, at the end of the day, it's better to turn them over to it, let them do what they want.
Yeah.
But make no mistake, the people, I feel bad for the loss of life in Minnesota. But I'll tell you, both of those people that died had mental health issues. There's no getting around it. If you are out if you come to the gun show armed with a Honda Pilot, you're not in the right spot.
No.
And if you try to use your Honda Pilot as a weapon, which it was construed to be, I'm sorry she got shot. She may not have actually been trying to hit him, but she did. And at the end of the day, he was within his rights. And look, you can say, well, shouldn't he de-escalate and shouldn't, he didn't have to shoot. Maybe not, but he was justified in doing so. And you know what? He may have just had enough.
Well, you know what? It's easy enough to be an armchair quarterback and nitpick this thing retroactively.
What if that was your kid out there trying to do his job? Maybe he doesn't even agree with what they're doing, but he's been dispatched to arrest somebody. They've got a warrant to do so. They're trying to exercise the warrant, and some crazy person, I was going to say lesbian broad, but then I get chested. Oh, why do you got to? Well, because they always say he was a white MAGA Republican male, which is why I always point out when it's a goofy, fat, lesbian idiot. That's why I do it. Most of you are sharp enough to pick it up. But why you got a fat shamer? It's not her fault she's ugly. Okay, you're right. But white, MAGA, male, Christian, those pesky Christians. Why do you think that trans people are overwhelmingly involved in shootings these days?
Because they've got mental health issues.
So see, when we quit,
Because every mass shooter's got a mental health issue. So if it's true for everyone up until now, has to be true for the trans shooters as well, right?
yes. So when you find out that crazy exists, to identify crazy, to quote unquote stereotype crazy, is not a bad thing. There has to be a certain amount of profile. We all profile every day. You're a liar if you say you're not profiling. If you go to inner city, if you're from Victoria, Texas, and you go to inner city Chicago and you start walking south and you see just five people walking towards you, you're going to be tempted to cross the street and walk on the other side. If they happen to be between the ages of 16 and 30 and their pants are sagging and they've got hoodies on and they happen to all be black, your blood pressure is going up. And you're a liar if you say it's not, even if you're black. You're like, oh, because the media has put into our minds for years and years and years that this is what, there you go. This is what a thug looks like. This is what a problem
It's in
person looks
Chicago.
like. Is that not uncanny?
White guy walking down the street in Chicago on the West Loop, and he got
Getting
jumped
mugged.
by two black guys that jumped out of an SUV, demanded everything that he had on him with a gun, beat him up, and then stole everything and jumped back into the SUV and
So
took
see,
off.
if you're walking down that street in South Chicago and five black young people approach you with hoodies on and you don't get some anxiety, then you're,
And as it was pointed out, the Chicago's mayor would rather go after car companies. Remember, I think he sued Ford saying their cars are too easy to steal instead of going after the criminals that are actually, causing the crime. I thought this was interesting. This guy's been on the run for 16 years.
he's only 44.
He's been wanted for a bunch of thefts in Italy, and he's a Slovakian. And he turned up in Milan to support the Slovak hockey team.
I mean, this guy's crazy. Comes out to one of the most videoed places on the planet when they've got all kinds of facial recognition.
Yeah. He checked into a campsite in the outskirts of Milan, and their automatic alert from the campsite reception apparently is what triggered this. So they had some sort of technology at the campsite.
He owes them 11 months and 7 days in Milan. They take him to the San Vittore prison to serve a pending sentence of 11. It says 11 months and 7 days.
Apparently, he did not get to see the Slovaks beat Finland 4-1.
They could have at least let him hang around and watch the hockey game before he went back to the big house.
But no, he showed up there for that, and apparently never got to see the game. So
Breezy Johnson got engaged.
saw that.
What a week for her.
Yeah.
She wins a gold medal and then gets married, gets engaged.
Let's see. The House partial government shutdown maybe today. DHS could be funding could be stopped for DHS because of that. Democrats holding that up, saying they want significant ICE reforms before they move ahead with the spending resolution. This, of course, coming just 2 weeks after the last resolution passed that averted a shutdown 2 weeks ago. So we'll see what happens. What do you make of this yesterday when Congress passed a resolution to stop the tariffs against Canada?
I don't know. I mean, is that their prerogative? The president has the ability to do that when he thinks something is important. I don't know. It says passed a resolution disapproving of.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means they can stop them or not.
It's a procedural vote on a rule that would have barred the House challenges to Trump's tariffs failed. A procedural vote that would have allowed the House to challenge Trump's tariffs failed. So there you go.
Any Republican in the House or the Senate that votes against tariffs will seriously suffer the consequences come election time, and that includes the primaries. Trump posted on his Truth Social account, tariffs have given us economic and national security, and no Republican should be responsible for destroying this privilege. The president just exerting his power. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, and I
Patrick, don't rattle the cage.
don't
do it.
I don't know how I don't know how effective his endorsements will be this midterm election.
You know, history says that the Democrats will win the majority in the midterms, but these are unique times. I can't be certain that the Republicans don't win. I think we're in a dangerous cycle if the Democrats win the midterms, and then let's say that the Democrats win the White House back in 28, and then they spend the first 2 years undoing what Donald Trump's done in the first year. And you know,
but unless they have super majorities to make these bills veto proof, what's going to get undone? It's just going to be executive order after executive order, right? Going forward, I think, when he can.
If you don't look around and see that Hamas is on their heels, Iran is coming to negotiate, Zelensky and Rubio are meeting today to try to resolve the Ukraine-Russia war, the unemployment is low, inflation is low, interest rates are inching down. I mean, affordability certainly is an issue, but it's been an issue. It's not like the Democrats can solve that problem. If you're just objective, they can't do anything to solve that problem. I just don't see how anybody right now, aside from the fact that they don't like Donald Trump, and there's plenty of things about Donald Trump that I don't like also, but objectively, he's doing a fantastic job.
I agree.
A fantastic job.
Yep.
The country is, I think, surging.
Should we take another break?
Sure.
Then we'll get into some state stuff that's kind of interesting. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. We'll be there at the end of the month.
The 26th. It's not next Thursday, but the following Thursday will be the 26th, and that is the night, the Wade and Carter night at Palace Bingo. Huge numbers of folks turning up lately to play bingo and support local charities.
And win some money. Have a good time. Chesnick Furniture Company. Stop by today. Stop by tomorrow. They're open all day Saturday as well in beautiful downtown Victoria. If you're
Easy
shopping
parking. You park right in front.
If you're looking for new furniture, Chesnick's the place to go.
Well, Chesnick would love to make your house a home, and if you get in, you can see why you just always do better at Chesnick. Bobby Leon and his family serving you and yours for your grandparents' way back to the parents. They've been there for well over 100 years.
They have.
Chopping block, you already talked about it?
Yeah, Boudin.
There
They
you
got the
go.
Barbacoa Boudin back in.
Fantastic.
that'll be back in
Atzenhofer,
cases today.
have they sold our car of the week?
Did I pick a car of the week?
Yes, you did. You picked a Nissan Frontera.
Oh, that's right. I don't know if the little pickup truck.
See,
Frontier, yeah.
little pickup truck.
Thank
that
you for
could.
reminding me. I don't know if they sold it. I have to look and see. On
I
the
think
website.
I can. I think I can. On the little Nissan. Atzenhofer drove by the other day. They've got work trucks available, white, good-looking Chevys. They have a bunch of cars on. They are not in the car collection business. If you drive by, if the flags are flying, people are buying.
It's still there, Ash.
It is okay.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you. Appreciate you looking
Cody,
for that.
because Ash is over here. Ash was
I
over
was,
here.
I
On
was scrolling trying to
I think
find
he
it.
was on YouPorn.
I just typed Frontier in and it came up.
Came up. All right. Well, there you go. It's still available. You're looking for a good little truck that has surprisingly pretty good towing capacity for a small truck and gets good gas mileage and has low miles and is a really good price.
There you go. We'll just call that truck and. There were a lot of ands there.
Texas Public Utility Commission sending surveys to the state's data centers and crypto mining facilities, all wanting to collect information about their water usage. If this is not government at its finest, you got to complete this survey in 6 weeks. You must. But we're going to take the rest of the year to compile all the data and produce a report. So you've got to have it in by the end of March, the end of the first quarter. And we're going to take the rest of the 3 quarters of the year to produce the report. This all coming on the heels of the Houston Advanced Research Center suggesting that data centers could account for 3% of the state water usage by 2030. Sounds significant. I don't know if it really is. I don't.
These hyper data centers use tons and tons of bad comparison, but they use lots of electricity. The one center could use 100 megawatts of power, and 1 megawatt of power is enough power to fuel more than one house for a whole month. So these things use a lot of juice.
Yep. Several prominent Texans, now that more of the data dump from the Epstein files has been released, have been linked to Epstein. Ken Starr.
Yeah, this is
apparently
interesting
named
from
in
the
there.
No Hypocrite Left Unscathed. The late Ken Starr, the former president of Baylor University and the independent counsel who helped investigate Bill Clinton during the Monica Lewinsky scandal. He helped Epstein secure the 2008 plea deal that enabled Epstein to avoid federal sex trafficking charges. He also hosted Epstein at Baylor in 2012. So here's the deal. I want you to stop and think about
This one's interesting.
Think about this, though. In 2008, Ken Starr knew what a piece of gras-doux Jeffrey Epstein was. Whether he got off or not isn't the issue. He knew Epstein's problems. 4 years later, while president at Baylor, Ken Starr invited Epstein to come to the Baptist flagship state school. In Texas.
He wanted a donation.
That's unbelievable hypocrisy.
He wanted a donation.
Yeah. Former University of Texas professor, not that Texas is any better, Thomas Hubbard, he asked Epstein's foundation for funding to host a conference for students to interrogate the concept of sexual consent. Dallas-based dating site Match.com emailed Epstein the profiles of women in their 20s after he registered as a sex offender. How about that?
MSN reporting that one. I'm not going to defend Match.com, but I think you basically, don't you just like set up your profile and all of a sudden they just send you a bunch of stuff based on your likes?
Probably.
I don't know what, I don't know what all the rules were.
I found one interesting the other day because it's kind of like if you squint just right, you have to kind of think about this. A professor at Yale who, the real Cliff's Notes, professor's married, professor's not attached in any way inappropriately with this student. In fact, the student had spent weekends kind of like an adopted weekend with the professor and his wife. She's a family friend and apparently a really good person. The guy knew Epstein, the professor at Yale, and he sent him an email saying, hey, I'm making up a name, you really ought to consider hiring Tiffany. She's very bright. She works very hard. She's focused on one of Epstein's financial businesses. Mm-hmm. She wants to be in that type of business, and she's little, blonde, and gorgeous, and yada, yada, yada. It was all in there. I've read the email. And Yale, because of Epstein, this is that everybody's a communist. We've got to, they fired him. They relieved him of his duties, insinuating that his email was essentially grooming her, trafficking her to Epstein to be sexually abused. Make no mistake, Epstein, I'm not going to insinuate that he did anything good, but he had lots of legitimate businesses. The guy was not just a child pimp. He was not. Do you think?
He was, but
I mean, he was that.
but were the businesses? It seems like a lot of them were a front to get him close to attractive women, right?
Right.
And when he tried to hit on an underage, I think server or bus person at Mar-a-Lago, Trump banned him.
Trump booted him. Yeah.
And I think his reporting of Epstein's activities led to that 2008 plea deal.
Right, but they act like him and Epstein were buddies.
But here's the thing with the Epstein files. Everything's in there. Anything the FBI ever got on him or anybody, false allegations, accusations,
Grocery list.
emails, anything that they acquired in their investigations into Epstein is there. Nowhere in that file is there a case that could be laid out. You'd have to go and make the case from all that stuff. But nowhere in there is there like a case presented, ready to go into a courtroom.
About Donald Trump?
About anybody.
No, that's true.
You know, you've got to cross the T's, dot the I's. It's a big data dump is what it is. And what it's become is anybody who's named in there is automatically assumed to have been an associate of Jeffrey Epstein. Now, a lot of
somehow involved in pedophilia.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of emails back and forth, and those are the ones that are pretty damning. But just because somehow they got your name, some anonymous tipster called in a fake allegation,
Right.
you know, that it's and Andrew Alvarez sums it up. How are the Epstein files ever going to help me pay my bills? They're not.
They're not. And here's the deal. I don't, in any form, believe that if the president or anybody is literally, involved in this activity, they should all be held accountable.
Absolutely.
But the idea that there is a segment of our population that says, oh, he's the president. He's a rich guy. He's guilty. That's not fair. And nobody's been prosecuted or persecuted in modern times like Donald Trump. No chance.
And you can't tell me that if there wasn't some political advantage that could be gained by some really damning material in there, that the Democrats wouldn't have released it before 2016. They wouldn't have released it during 2020.
That's the biggest
and
tell.
They won't release it now.
Right.
And the Republicans would have done the exact same thing, and nobody did because
Certainly.
It's better to just say we're going to release it. And remember, the Trump administration has released more of these files than anybody else.
But they said they were going to release all of it day one. And apparently, when they got in there must be some issues in national security and things like that. I just don't believe. Donald Trump may be a lot of things. A philandering playboy, rich kid misfit being on the list. But I just don't believe that he was cavorting around some island with 13-year-olds and being inappropriate. I don't.
No, and the one picture that they always show with kids, they're his kids.
Right. And that's what makes me convinced that the whole thing is much ado about nothing, right? Because
I mean, the file. Nothing, not that what Epstein did is much ado about nothing.
No, but they insinuate that Trump, here's a picture of Trump, and you find out that was little Barron when Barron was 4,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ken Paxton has sued Snapchat, accusing the messaging app of exposing children to harmful content and designing the product to be addictive. It's an interesting.
Yeah. Paxton says parents have a right, fundamental right, to know the dangers of the apps their kids are using and not be lied to by big tech companies. There you have it.
So
Ken Paxton, just not the most photogenic guy, is he?
No, but he's still. I will say this: he hasn't gone into straight campaign mode. At least he's still doing his job.
Yeah.
He says, "I will not allow Snapchat to harm our kids by running a business designed to get Texas children addicted to a platform filled with obscene and destructive content." In a news release, Paxton says parents have that fundamental right to know the dangers of the apps their kids are using and to not be lied to.
That's fair. A lot of those things are set up to be addictive and to involve kids. Houston, Around 2,000 students from 100 schools were expected to stay home yesterday to protest the state-appointed management of the district.
So
So
20
Houston
20
schools
kids per
suck.
school.
Yeah. This takeover is harming kids all over Houston.
So staying home at a school district that sucks performing,
That'll show.
that'll show them. Yeah. Once again, show up at your ISD board meeting in the evening and talk about your experiences. That's the way you do these things. Staying home doesn't do anything. And it sounds like a lot, but I mean, there's probably 20 kids a day staying home every day from most of those schools. Sick, doctor's appointments, faking being sick.
Dallas news. The city council approved a proposal to relinquish majority control of DART, the Dallas Area Rapid Transit, and guarantee each of the agency's 13-member cities a seat on the board. The move is an effort to persuade 6 cities to cancel May elections about withdrawing from DART.
Sounds a little bit like our battle with the airport the other day, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but
Well, if
we'll
it's,
have to get to that later. I don't think it's safer. Probably not safer.
oh my man.
Well,
Yep. You got to leave me?
yep.
All right, I'll let you leave me. Quick news, Austin, the Texas Supreme Court will decide whether a 23-year-old woman's lawsuit against the therapist who recommended a double mastectomy to treat gender dysphoria can proceed even though she filed the claim more than 2 years later. More than 60 Texas House Republicans signed a statement asking the court to make an exception to the statute of limitations. I would say that I'd be tempted to grant her an extension. Him, I don't know. Them, I don't know. I mean, so if I'm reading this right, she's 23 years old now. A therapist recommended that she have her breast removed to treat her gender dysphoria. And we're saying, does the therapist have any accountability? I would think yes. I mean, I would think that's something you would at least discuss in a courtroom. Tarrant County, Fort Worth, commissioners voted 3-2 Tuesday to apply for a $140,000 state grant to cover costs associated with the county's agreement with ICE, which allows the sheriff's office to identify detainees who are in the country illegally. 3 attendees were removed from the raucous meeting. So let's see what that says, Cody. The commissioners agreed to apply for a grant that will aid the county in identifying illegal aliens who are currently incarcerated, not for being illegal aliens. They're in jail in Tarrant County for doing something else. And the state is saying, hey, look, we can provide you some money to help identify these people, and then ICE can deport them. I would vote for that as well. I think that's a good thing. Amarillo, out of 492 diseased or deceased birds that workers collected last week, 18 were tested for bird flu. 12 were highly suspected and treated as positive for bird flu. Okay. I wonder how they had 492 dead birds laying around. They found 12 that might be bird flu-ish. I'm not sure. I'm not sure bird flu is all it's cracked up to be. It is Friday the 13th. This is from CNN's 5 Things. A day cloaked in superstition, when even the most rational people, knock on wood, just in case, cursed or not, it has a way of making an ordinary day feel slightly ominous. If you dig deeper, though, There's evidence that both Fridays and the number 13 have long been regarded as a harbinger of good fortune. I did not know that.
I didn't either. Should we talk about Brother Gary?
Yes, very exciting news. Do you have a way to put that in, not only in the comments section, but also put that on our webpage? Commander Cody, that sounds good. I like that.
Hello, I'm Commodity.
Commodity is his stage name. Now on the main stage. Put your hands together for Commodity. You could work a toilet into your act. I like it. Instead of Commander Cody, it's Commodity. John Anderson says, are there still a lot of illegal immigrants in Victoria? I don't think percentage-wise we're any higher than anybody else. I do think that we're seeing a great group of high-character folks who happen to be here illegally are self-deporting. I applaud them. They have character. Brian Small says, commode is excellent. That'd be from the French. So there is a move afoot for those of you that have had any interaction ever with Brother Gary. If Brother Gary has touched your life in a positive way, and if Brother Gary touched your life, it was in a positive way. You certainly probably remember so. It's www.dearbrothergary.com. And they're encouraging folks to write a letter to Brother Gary. Brother Gary battling some health issues. He's probably listening this morning. If you are, my friend, God bless you, and we love you. But you can write a letter to Brother Gary and just say, here's how we met. Here's where you made a difference for me once you told me, blah, blah, blah. That'd be awesome.
And there's an address at the bottom of that website to send it to.
Yeah, Brian Smalls, who spends a lot of time on the interweb making fun of me for saying www. I was just reading what was on the prompter. Stay sexy, San Diego. Yeah.
He's just jealous of your good looks.
Well, yeah, that. I look kind of pale in here. If I turn the TV off.
Oh, no.
Yeah, see, I look better with nothing on the screen. However, we get paid.
That's right.
For what's on the screen, so we'll put that back on. I think.
It'll come back eventually.
There it is. Yeah. So, very, very exciting. I've got I could write all day about Brother Gary. I could talk about how Brother Gary took me in when I was not homeless, when I was a little kid that my mom was like, you can ride your bike over to the high school, get out of the house. In the summer, and the brother used to head up the Parks and Recs summer recreation program, and we would go over to what fondly as the old field house. And I would help the brother man throw open the big garage doors, and we played ball. That's where we first started playing basketball competitively, was over there. And Brother Gary was in charge of that facility. And he'd come to me and say, okay, look, it's lunchtime. I'm going to lunch. You need to go home. Go home, check in with your mom, come back at 1 o'clock. Yes, sir. And we'd leave, and then we'd all come back. I remember the first time that I went to a pet show. I had this Siamese cat that, it's a long story. But anyway, I had this cat, and I got on my bike and basically had to ride with no hands, which was not a problem at the time, over around the corners and all that, over to, because we were going to have a pet show, a pet contest. And I remember being old enough, still very young, but old enough to say, man, Brother Gary, everybody got a ribbon. And everybody did get a first place ribbon, But it is funny that it was well over 50 years ago, and I remember that cat got prettiest pet. That was how empathetic and kind the brother man was, even as a very young man. And, that's the first time I've thought of that in 50 years. But that cat got, a blue ribbon. The brother man went and bought those, made sure every kid had something good about their pet.
Probably paid for him out of his pocket.
Absolutely. And, when I ran for mayor, he said, why would you do that, son? Why would you do that to yourself? And he always, all the way down to this program, he always says, hey, y'all are doing great. Just be nice. Be nice. Always just, when in doubt, be nice. Brother Gary talking about kindness long before it became in vogue. Super fine gentleman, super fine. Just everybody is his family. Yeah, Brian Small says we still ask that. We're very kind here, very polite. Just intolerant at times. It's only an hour. I don't have time to debate everything. Some things have to be said with an emphatic nature. And every now and then things get a little vitriolic. But, like Jim Rome says, have a take. Don't suck. Be smart. But I encourage you to reach out.
We've got it put on the website as well as in the social feed.
There you go. The latest on his health, Brian, he's had some health issues. He's always so upbeat. He is battling some things, but he's a champion. So I believe he's local right now. I think he's here. He's in a facility getting some rehab. But we pray for him. But I do think it would be very cool if you took a minute and went to dearbrothergary.com. I'm sure they're going to compile this at some point. But Kristen, his niece, has told me that if you take the time to write a letter to Brother Gary, that they will read it to him and he will know that it came from you by name. So just sign the letter and be dearbrothergary.com. Be small. What an asset he's been to this program. Comes in, he's a great prognosticator. He comes in and tells us who he thinks is going to win which sport. Great man, great friend of the program, great friend to anybody that knows him, Brother Gary Moses. Folks, it's the top of the hour. We wish you nothing but a safe, healthy weekend. Have a good weekend. Be good to each other. And we'll talk to you all on Monday. We love you guys. Bye, folks.